says I'm back Lee. Black0950 says our pretty bird. Shorkento says oh. Black0950 says cheers sampu. Brruhmine says awa. Brruhmine says dumak for the beats more black. Screen Element says Brruhmine is now lead. Streaming art, drawing art on an art stream. Awa. Black0950 says Yuo. Brruhmine says oh I see then Yuo. Brruhmine says yeah guess that works now lol. Brruhmine says I at ima get a water bottle lol. Brruhmine says so for now just stare at some whips lol. Black0950 says look it up, upper entry streamers get paid half a cent per bit donated, isang cent per bit, with 50% of bit donations being kept by Twitch, according to StreamYard. Brruhmine says so how much is 1D? Black0950 says for you, half a cent. Black0950 says upper entry. Brruhmine says Brruhmine the goal. Brruhmine says sounds fair enough lol. Black0950 says Ima keep using Beats for on the fly tips, but I'm definitely gonna drop proper donations when I have the bank balance umited. Brruhmine says to mock you awa. Black0950 says I got to talk to my mom about getting the money from my share transferred over to my bank account. Brruhmine says how you even make money my dog. Black0950 says 10% of sales, for 2 events which I think will be 20 or $30, plus $20 for the craft sales I got at the Renfi. Black0950 says I get paid a share of sales at our vending booth, and don't have to pay rent, utility, or grocery bills. Shorkento says oh. Brruhmine says so you basically rent a spot to sell stuff during a fair of sorts. Black0950 says that is the arrangement my mom and I have. I get paid in tangible benefits and, currently, 10% commission. Brruhmine says I see you oh. Black0950 says we pay a vending fee, which lets us use a slot or two usually, to set up our booth. Then we try to sell what we can to patrons of the event. Brruhmine says events like an open concert, I assume. Black0950 says we pay extra for two because we have a larger booth setup, and the last four events have been collaborative with a second vendor, so it's essentially two booths joined at the hip. Black0950 says this year we have gone to tatlong expos, a writing festival, and a rent fair. Brruhmine says owo noise. Black0950 says and I think there was a few other smaller stuff we did but I can't recall the specifics. Black0950 says last fall we were vending weekend after weekend at different fairs, festivals, and we were supposed to do a music festival but the weather was too risky so we pulled out. Brruhmine says also speaking of selling in events, I'm actually going to try and to buy a ticket to join a cosplay convention Songyuan at the end of December. Brruhmine says and aim to try to attempt to walk to missions their awa. Black0950 says my stepmom covers for me on the Pride festivals, so I don't go to those. I don't like going to festivals in general, with certain exceptions, and Pride festivals are easy to get my stepmom to cover because she's super into the Pride community. Brruhmine says I don't mean I'm renting a booth though, I mean I'm gonna walk around offering people my service lol. Brruhmine says oh I see your stepmom kinda based like that. Brruhmine says anyways I'm back with the water bottle luo. Brruhmine says it's 500 ml yuo. Brruhmine says chugging commence lol. Brruhmine says drank half the bottle lol. Brruhmine says so anyways what else we drawing you? Black0950 says if it's too much about cosplay conventions, but just keep in mind you might have to pay for a book slot anyways, depending on how they want to handle it. Brruhmine says well of course I'm not gonna make myself obvious to the security lol. Black0950 says I know performers oftentimes don't have setups, because they walk around and perform, but they are also contracted by the event rather than freelance. Brruhmine says and besides everyone in the convention looks silly so I'll fit in just fine. Black0950 says at Brruhmine well if you pay for the rights to sell goods and services, the security won't do anything unless you obstruct flow or cause problems for other vendors. Black0950 says in fact they might actually help you. Brruhmine says ham. Black0950 says just got to contact an organizer to ask them what kind of setup you'd need to operate the service you have in mind. Brruhmine says man don't make me use two brain cells to think. Black0950 says well, doing actual business is a workout for the brain cell. Brruhmine says I'm just gonna walk around and see if people gonna buy my commissions lol.
Hala, umuulan na naman. Naghahanap pa naman ako.
Brruhmine says I hate this type of party. Black0950 says if it's like an advertising sign, I think you can pay for advertising rights, which would let you go around advertising things without the security stepping in. But you could probably get away with skipping that if you avoid security. Black0950 says needs more feathers. Brruhmine says unless they're going for flightless harpies. Black0950 says then she needs hands. Brruhmine says which of course, fantasy anime wouldn't do so because they need to be super generic to appeal to everyone. Black0950 says otherwise those wings serve zero purpose and should be atrophied. Black0950 says I recognize a lot of these characters. Brruhmine says yeah I'm convinced the mangaka doesn't know how to draw wings lol. Brruhmine says of course you do you. Brruhmine says it's from the Monster Girl stuff. Black0950 says a lot of them
Sayang,
are from Monster Musume.
nakapag-budget na ako.
Hala, umuulan na naman. Naghahanap pa naman ako ng deals na sulit.
I want to share with you my
Black0950 says take that Ryan.
today.
Mura. Sa shop.
Estimator naman. Ano yun? Get your order for...
You can also create your own mini AI assistant.
Playing fetch.
Ng deals na sulit. Mura. Piso. Sa shop. Sulit. Mura. Piso. Sa shop.
Black0950 says the all one just there was also from Monster Musume I think. Black0950 says our in seeing a lot of post archive pics, nice. Brruhmine says also if you want my advice on buying this posing doll, I recommend not buying it. Black0950 says I don't think posing dolls are worth it. Black0950 says just get some model and play and learn to sculpt. Black0950 says make your own. Brruhmine says actually some of there are, you just need to find the good ones. Black0950 says they are something you use like, for 3 months and never need again. Black0950 says it's a learning tool, once you learn it stops being necessary. Brruhmine says I recommend Gonta, action figures with high articulation and that posing doll used specifically for animation. Brruhmine says this one right here on screen is just for looks. Black0950 says I just use clay, since I spent like a decade learning to sculpt. Streambot says visit Brruhmine's Ko-Fi page at https://ko-fi.com/Brruhmine. Rev Katumbas Twitch. Brruhmine says honestly based lol. Black0950 says play is cheap, like $5 for a pack, and you can make a reference sculpt for anything. Black0950 says I used to do it a lot for my fantasy creatures. Black0950 says especially the ones with weirder anatomy. Brruhmine says there's very cheap model and plays here that are a bar long and are like around $1 lol. Black0950 says he. Black0950 says and learning to sculpt is why my anatomy seems so effortless. Brruhmine says noise awa. Black0950 says I spent 10 years figuring out how to make that stuff look right in 3D. I just needed to learn how to accurately depict 3D on a 2D plane. Brruhmine says yeah, this sleeve action design kinda soft lol. Black0950 says in topping 3 hanggang 5 sculptures a day, every day, for years.
Send voice messages.
Black0950 says if they were made of a clay I could have preserved, we'd have thousands of sculptures. Brruhmine says Toei, give me the rights to make bolts the and the rest of its continuity to make content of, and my life is yours. Black0950 says this is why my first advice for anyone wanting to learn anatomy is to try and model figures and animals out of clay till it stops looking weird. Brruhmine says yes you. Black0950 says if you do that, and get to a point where the sculpts actually look like what they are supposed to be, then you've learned the anatomy of ink. Black0950 says you can't make a 3D model of something that looks accurate without consequently developing a robust understanding of how the thing is shaped. Brruhmine says hehe Eldebrims, tatlo. Black0950 says awa. Shortento says oo. Shortento says browser crashed again. Brruhmine says I'm just that good at trashing stuff. Brruhmine says Wimiter. Shortenko says well then. Brruhmine says why that Power Ranger got a fat ass. Brruhmine says oh well I think I know what to draw now. Shortenko says noble anime. Brruhmine says lol. Shortenko says maybe I should get back into dual remaking. Brruhmine says God this post. Black0950 says Smutty Meg Pylon. Brruhmine says Smutty Special Soldier. Brruhmine says but that could work too long. Black0950 says UO. Brruhmine says in try throwing my OC in this post lol. Black0950 says awa. Brruhmine says debating whether I should put the super soldier, the sniper or the medic OCs I have lol. Black0950 says that's a hard choice. Brruhmine says goddamn TDs wanna break free. Black0950 says they crave freedom. Brruhmine says already looking good. Brruhmine says let me post my lineup of Spec Ops OCs. Brruhmine says posted it on the Discords. Talk Streambot says visit Brruhmine's profile page at https://ko-fi.com/Brruhmine. Ref Katumbas tweet. Brruhmine says oh. Brruhmine says of course I'd make fan art of a mod boss fight lol. Black0950 says is the sniper the tall lady on the right. Brruhmine says glad it was read easily that she's the sniper yuo. Black0950 says it was the gun mostly. Brruhmine says yeah, ops should be recognized by their gun. Shorkentel says that bitch hurt in the convergence mod. Black0950 says basic knowledge of weapons and their uses helps understand roles at a glaze. Brruhmine says at Shorkentel so she's a 10 din.
Looking at yourself for the pictures.
Shorkentel says at Brruhmine more like Anwalo, she hurts me especially cause I'm not a straight tank player, I enjoy doing stupid shit like status effect builds. Black0950 says in order, riot control, medic, commando, marine, and sniper, or at least that's the roles they read as. Brruhmine says at Shorkentel based lol. Brruhmine says at Black0950 correct awa. Black0950 says the first one could also be something along the lines of SWAT instead. Brruhmine says you literally got all of them right then first time lol. Black0950 says yuo. Brruhmine says fat male niya Brruhmine dead lol. Black0950 says the Marine one was tricky cause the gear could also be infantry, but the helmet felt more like it was made for point control than general combat. Black0950 says crowd control, blood control, mission control, point control, and life control. Black0950 says hehe. Brruhmine says Brruhmine guy is supposed to be a well-qualified soldier who is also a good leader in his platoon, but higher-ups decided he should be part of a newly formed spec ops made up by amateurs lol. Brruhmine says I'm gonna watch her boss fights before I make fan art of her. Brruhmine says Temboy TP. Black0950 says the Marine class of Unit Earl is interesting because despite being outnumbered by infantry, they can turn battles and win wars because the Marines are specialized for strategic power moves. They exist to neutralize specific targets and take control of specific points. People joke about their intelligence, but Marines are honestly some of the most cunning soldiers because the higher-ups pick people that are fast thinkers, single-minded, and resourceful. Brruhmine says it's only Temboy TT, which, everything is normal so far yo. Black0950 says Temboy TT. Black0950 says is it still Temboy if it has TT? Or is that instead a dick heel? Brruhmine says itets man. Black0950 says also, so based off Dark Souls to have a trans character. Brruhmine says they drawing a born male forced to be the next queen just to fulfill a role. Black0950 says that was the one from Dark Souls, right? Or does Elden Ring also have a trans character? Brruhmine says that is the Dark Souls character Yuo. Black0950 says Yuo. Brruhmine says and Elden Ring also have a trans character lol. Brruhmine says maybe dalawa. Black0950 says yeah but are they a queen with a dick? Brruhmine says basically lol. Black0950 says 0. Black0950 says I bet there's crossover smut of them together. Brruhmine says probably. Black0950 says if not, we can fix that today. Brruhmine says OWO. Black0950 says Rule 34, if it exists there's porn of it. If not, give it time.
Sayang,
Brruhmine says yeah they either turned him femboy or trans fem lol.
kapag
Hala, uulan na naman. Naghahanap.
Black0950 says he was feminized. Brruhmine says hey wholesome art. Black0950 says is that their dad? Brruhmine says Yuo. Black0950 says the one that feminized them. Brruhmine says oh no not him. Brruhmine says his dad was banished and considered an enemy of the kingdom actually. Shorkento says well indeed tatlong the Dark Moon Covenant leader was apparently the kids of Gwendoline and crossbreed Priscilla. Murblack0950 says oh, okay, then this can be called wholesome. Brruhmine says his granddad is responsible for
Hala,
feminism
ulit
in
naman!
law.
Naghahanap pa naman ako ng deals na sulit. Mura.
I want
I'm not letting you out of my sight again. Off to bed now.
Brruhmine says oh yeah. Murblack0950 says I see. Brruhmine says Marika undressing Gwendolyn. Brruhmine says Murblack0950 says also good to know they didn't do any surgery on him. Murblack0950 says just fed him lots of soy. Brruhmine says or we can draw a Dark Souls character that is canonically trans.
I'm not letting you out of my sight again.
Black0950 says those are some good poses for some nice gay smut. Brruhmine says also this'll be my last drawing before we end stream lol you. Coffee Streambot says visit Brruhmine's Ko-Fi page at https://ko-fi.com/Brruhmine. Ref Katumbas Twitch. Black0950 says I. Brruhmine says the best basketball player alongside Godfrey. Brruhmine says bro may be short, but God he knows how to dunk. Black0950 says hehe. Shorkento says man I need a head re-release of The Darkness and The Darkness 2 for PC. Brruhmine says we all want it free. Shorkento says I could also use a horror series narrated by Johnny Powell, so there is also that. Brruhmine says lol. Brruhmine says I just realized something. Black0950 says yeah. Shorkento says ha. Brruhmine says I could be drawing Michaela instead of Radalgon. Theoretical Transformer says BESTVIEWERS on Smebor, online. Brruhmine says shut up. Shorkento says you could be but lore-wise their relationship actually boils down to someone popping themselves. Brruhmine says I'm drawing yawa mang lol. Shorkento says lol. Shorkento says yawa, trap. Black0950 says yawa self says isn't even the wildest thing I've seen today. Black0950 says step it up. Black0950 says be freakier. Brruhmine says you want yawa but the other guy doesn't consent. Brruhmine says more like other guys lol. Black0950 says I believe that counts as toxic taoy. Black0950 says yawa. Brruhmine says since the body and soul of two guys are merged into one being. Black0950 says toxic harem yawa is kinda new, but I know that exists out there. Black0950 says the Omega fandom exists. Brruhmine says. Black0950 says there's no way something like Omegas exist and someone hasn't made a fanfic with a toxic alpha and less than consenting Omegas. Black0950 says the Omega fandom gets off the "my body wants it, I can't help it" type shit. Brruhmine says, why must I be able to read that? Brruhmine did lol. Black0950 says, we live in a cursed world, where women get off to the idea of femboys getting impregnated by daddies. Black0950 says, cause that's the wildest part about the Omega fandom, it's primarily women who create and consume Omega media. Black0950 says, side note, why is it normalized for women to enjoy MLM content, but when a man seeks out lesbian content is suddenly creepy? Black0950 says, are they not both kind of creepy? They are doing the same thing. Brruhmine says, gender bias. Black0950 says, and it's not like men are being creepier about it. I've seen women rule over the gays like it's the hottest shit ever. Black0950 says, it's just really weird term. Black0950 says not throwing shade at boyers, if you like to watch that's your business, just where that one is considered creepy, but reversing the genders makes it fine. Black0950 says also this is specifically for the sexual content, if you wanna see cute lesbians being wholesome and romantic I don't think anyone will call that creepy. Black0950 says they better not cause then I got hands to throw, cause women have been doing that for decades. Black0950 says I've seen old women admiring wholesome days like it's the cutest cheat in the world. Black0950 says I guess all this is to say, we live in a society. Brruhmine says real. Coffee Streambot says visit Brruhmine's Ko-Fi page at https://ko-fi.com/Brruhmine. Ref Katumbas Twitch. Black0950 says so tomorrow is Monster Monday, any plans for that? Or should I dig up obscure manuscript beasties? Brruhmine says well probably might grow some critters from my phylogenetic critter but other than that, not much ideas. Brruhmine says okay. Black0950 says I'll hunt down some fun looking things to throw at you. Eat it if I'm gonna be on cause church tomorrow falls right into the stream time, but who knows. Brruhmine says it seems like Dark Souls actually gave Gwendolyn actually TTs. Brruhmine says what's with FromSoft and Femboy or Feet? Murblack0950 says look at screenshots, she does in fact have small titties. My hammer says do more art. My hammer says oh salungguhit oh. Brruhmine says OMG. My hammer says hi friend, mas mahigit. Brruhmine says HENLO friend, tatlo. Murblack0950 says it's like 1 AM there. Murblack0950 says let the man sleep. My hammer says no I rarely get to say hi to my friend of long time. Brruhmine says at Murblack0950 it's actually 4 AM. My hammer says and for once I was alive at the same time. My hammer says so good. My hammer says you do need sleep you goober. Brruhmine says later, I got the sleep you're liar anyway lol. Murblack0950 says oh fuck, 14 hours ahead, not 10. My hammer says I'm glad to know that Thirst can pronounce goober so well haha. Murblack0950 says why are you up at 4 AM? Brruhmine says because it's the weekends. Murblack0950 says, 5. My hammer says he doing his best to earn and learn cause plump is a studious popper laughing face. Murblack0950 says fair. Murblack0950 says plump. My hammer says in our little friend group he is known as Plump Zode. Murblack0950 says is that an old username? Murblack0950 says oh. Murblack0950 says nickname. Murblack0950 says like me being slimy boy. Brruhmine says and I'm a 100% adult man, and I can stay up past the bedtime, watch TV and drink adult drinks. My hammer says and me being low. My hammer says at Brruhmine Zode. Brruhmine says I'm definitely not 3 kids in a trench coat. Murblack0950 says I legally cannot pass judgment for being up in the M. Murblack0950 says I have a horrible habit of being up till sunrise, if not later. My hammer says 3 kids in a suit of armor. Brruhmine says correct lol. Brruhmine says so how's Finland oh. Brruhmine says is the Summer Olympics gonna be hosted there? My hammer says Finland is very beautiful snow or horrendous snowy darkness zone. My hammer says it's great. Thank you. Mas mahigit. My hammer says you should visit. My hammer says we have extra room. Murblack0950 says yesterday I was running on literally zero sleep because I chose to pull an all-nighter to do art practice and work on creative projects. So I was up from 10 am to like 1 am the next night, 39 hours. Brruhmine says what the hell? Murblack0950 says I wanted to be artsy. My hammer says holy shit. My hammer says Zod. Murblack0950 says so instead of popping up my sleep schedule I just took stimulants to stay awake. My hammer says well that's a great idea. Brruhmine says only art is my only stimulant ever. My hammer says I once took shrooms to make a boring forest more exciting. Murblack0950 says totally not abusing my prescriptions for the pursuit of art. Murblack0950 says totally. My hammer says at Brruhmine only art is not a bad idea for a website. Brruhmine says. My hammer says if I don't take my drugs my arms don't work past 15 minutos Zod so have to take a lot of those before art streams Zod. Murblack0950 says legal no, I am not advising you use prescription stimulants to pull all-nighters, I am a bad influence and you should never do anything using Nido. My hammer says I'm 33 years young and in my statistic prime to abuse it now Zod. Murblack0950 says also all-nighters are 50-50 ads on if you'll get anything done or just watch YouTube for 14 hours straight. Brruhmine says got that? You can tell me what to do? Mom, vibes free lol. My hammer says at Murblack0950 that's most of my life since the accident. My hammer says X. My hammer says haha. My hammer says bro you make me wanna start up the stream and do art. This next week is stream week. Brruhmine says OWO. Black0950 says I low-key got the idea to use my Adderall like this from my mom last fall when we had to pull back-to-back all-nighters to keep up with the vending schedule. Brruhmine says man I need to catch ya streaming cause somehow use ain't notifying on my phone despite every other YouTuber I don't want notifying me or somehow lol. My hammer says that's dumb. But typical YT really di katumbas also thinking of doing Twitch just to make all the redeemable work again, but man I don't know. Black0950 says really it's less that it keeps me awake, and more that it makes it more efficient to operate, so I can go longer without feeling tired. I can stay awake without help already, the meds just make it easier to stay focused on specific tasks. Black0950 says cause my ad symptoms get worse the longer I'm awake. Brruhmine says man. Black0950 says to the point I have to take prescription sleep meds to actually get good sleep, cause otherwise the ad will keep me up, make me more tired, and make the symptoms worse, making it harder and harder to get to sleep. Black0950 says that's something people don't talk about much. ADHD can cause insomnia because if your brain won't settle down, you can't sleep. My hammer says it sucks if at Wonderloaf. My hammer says I got ad and suffer from insomnia also, though that's also part due to pain in arms and back due to rampaging garbage drop zone. My hammer says as a sick pick to another, you got this dude. Also plump. It's looking great. Brruhmine says dumako, oh. Black0950 says the worst part about it is when people act like ADHD is just, you are easily distracted, or, oh you just need to get up to get that energy out, when in reality there's a whole lot more to it. My brain is literally missing a core chemical component, and the fact I can even function at all is a testament to the adaptability of the human brain. My hammer says truth. Thankfully getting more understood, but growing up in the past, for me 90s, yeah it was just, you need to take a walk, or, eat less sugar, or, you are stupid, it's much fun. Black0950 says sometimes it's so bad I can't even write a single sentence on a notebook because I can't keep a train of thought long enough to form words into ideas. Or worse, I can't hear myself think over the brain static and phantom stimuli that come from ADHD. Brruhmine says a mode. My hammer says lol, it's so frustrating, especially when I really want to work or sleep. Brruhmine says I'll eventually going to a clinic to get a diagnosis of whatever I have on my brain. Brruhmine says or whatever I'm lacking on my brain lol. My hammer says def worthy. My hammer says having some understanding helps a lot. Black0950 says also something people don't talk about much. ADHD can cause you to hear things that aren't there, especially things that you have positive memories of. It's a hallucination of a memory basically, and they play over and over, even when you have no idea where the memory came from. Black0950 says but yet, understanding my symptoms, and how my actions can affect them, has been a massive game changer in the last few years. My hammer says, mas mahigit. Black0950 says my dad never took me to a proper doctor to learn about ADHD and autism, and I was too wrapped up in other bad to try and formulate a research plan. After getting my current doctor, I've learned a lot about why my symptoms are the way they are. He explained a good bit of my core problems, sleep, anxiety, etc., can be caused by untreated ADHD. Since getting prescribed stimulants and sleeping medication, things have been so much better. Coffee Streambot says visit Brruhmine's Ko-Fi page at https://ko-fi.com/Brruhmine. Ref Katumbas Twitch. Brruhmine says damn. Black0950 says here that with the motivation to actually research the ins and outs of my two conditions, from symptoms to coping skills to the specific details of why the symptoms happen, and I've gotten a much better idea of not only how my brain is different, but why, and how that results in the symptoms. Brruhmine says this be the week for now you will. Black0950 says if nothing else, it's made it easier to come to terms with my problems, and accept my conditions as being something that is a part of me, instead of feeling like I was broken or just not mentally strong enough to function. Black0950 says I gotta go, at my hammer if you aren't on the Discord, you should join it, if you are we can continue this convo there. Brruhmine says yeah hopefully when I get my diagnosis, I finally understand why I'm like such. Black0950 says it's a psychological weight of the shoulders to understand that the problem is beyond your control. Brruhmine says I think they're already on the server, but I can resend an invite to them. Brruhmine says also got to make channel for bending as well. Brruhmine says also yeah to Mafia guys for sticking around and vibin. Brruhmine says twas a fun stream Yuo. Brruhmine says let's try and raid Rooney lol. Brruhmine says stream really lasted beyond 3 AM LMAO. Brruhmine says but yeah I got to practice to limit my stream time lol.